Hello everyone, today I want to tell you about this DIY project for live streaming. This is my first such project, so there's some shortcomings, but as for me, the result is worthy. Here we have a switcher from Blackmagic, a 16-inch screen with 2K resolution and according to the manufacturer with 100 coverage of sRGB, a custom epoxy resin panel, 2 ventilation fans and the case itself with all necessary connectors. Specifically, we have a compact switcher Atem Mini Extreme ISO, which has 8 HDMI inputs, built-in multi-view and the ability to record all inputs separately as well as the program video on the external drive. If necessary, you always can use converters to connect SDI cables to this switcher, if you need to run the cables over 50 feet. You also can find our models of this switcher on Blackmagic website. There are also two 3.5mm audio jacks on the back, which can work in microphone or line mode for connecting to the mixer. Headphone output, 2 HDMI outputs, each can configure it separately, and there are also 2 USB-C. You can use these USB-C ports to connect your phone as a modem, to connect an external drive for recording live streaming, to connect the switcher to your PC for configuration in Atem software, and to connect the switcher to your PC and use it as a web camera. This switcher allows you to go live in HD resolution in the following formats. I built this case for several reasons: to get a compact and portable way to go live, to protect the equipment from external influences, to achieve a nice look of the system. So the first thing I was thinking about is the case itself. Inside should be enough space to fit a 16-inch screen and have a small margin around the edges for mounting fans and have enough step for cables and power. I chose this 340 by 270 by 100mm case. This case is quite durable, but the top cover can be easily twisted. However, looking ahead, one person has already managed to sit on it and everything is fine with case. We can say that the tests from external influences have been passed. So that the switcher wouldn't fall down and it will be comfortable to work with, I made such a work surface and my wife filled it with epoxy. Then we painted over the edges with black acrylic paint. By the way, if you are interested in epoxy resin, you can check out my wife's Instagram. The link will be in the description. I also ordered all necessary connectors and components: monitor, aux cables, XLR connectors and cables, HDMI connectors and cables, USB-C connectors, power connector and power supply with 3 USB-A type connectors, fans, USB-C to USB-A power cord, HDMI to 90° HDMI mini cable. At this point, I want to tell you about my 3 mistakes in this project. Think of HDMI wires. Due to limited space, it's very important that the wires take up as little space as possible for easy routing. The difficulty also lies in the fact that the wires overlap each other, creating a thick roll of wires, which due to their rigidity simply didn't allow to close the work surface. I decided to replace them with thinner cables, which fit inside without any problems. The next problem, monitor connection. I wanted to place the monitor on the center of top cover, and I forgotten about the signal and power for it. Because of this, I had to cut out part of the top cover to fit the HDMI cable, and this despite the fact that I tried to find the most compact cable with a 90° angle. The last problem in this project is component incompatibilities. The monitor doesn't show an image with project settings lower than 50 frames per second. The thing is that HDMI output works with project settings and you can't change it. This function isn't active in the Atem software. I assume that this is due to the refresh rate of the monitor at 60 Hz, since with project settings of 50, 59.94 and 60 frames, everything is displayed normally. Unfortunately, I found this problem too late and it wasn't possible to replace the monitor. If you know why it's happening, let me know about it in the comments, it will be so interesting to read about it. In turn, I have a couple of ideas how to fix it, and I will definitely record a video for you if I will fix this problem. Of the advantages of this monitor, it's still worth notice its resolution, color reproduction and the presence of thin frames, which makes its appearance very pleasant, as well as the presence of holes on the back cover for mounting. With their help, I fixed the monitor and closed the empty space around with case foam. I will leave the links to all products in the description. After I received the components, I started assembling. I wanted to place all HDMI outputs on the back cover of the case, so that during operation it will be easy to hide all the cables without spoiling the appearance of the system. The power connector is located at the bottom, where it fits very well. 2 holes USB-C and headphones output placed on the sidewall for more convenient connection. Internet and audio jacks were placed along the edges of the back. Instead of using 2 3.5mm jacks, I decided to leave only one and to replace the second one with a full-size XLR connector, for example, to connect directly to an audio capture card or sound mixer. I also purchased an audio card, but so far I haven't needed. Even before purchasing the switcher, I knew that it gets quite hot during operation and doesn't have an active cooling system, so I decided to install 2 ventilation fans, one for intake and the second for exhaust for better cooling the system. I used 2 thin fans that are powered by USB. However, the blowing fan had to be installed outside because due to its tight fit to the inner wall, it made a lot of noise, which does not happen when the fan installed outside. Fortunately, I found 2 protective grills with which I closed the ventilation holes as well as the fan itself from external influences. To protect the connectors, I ordered rubber plugs. After that, I took up the work surface. It's made of 5mm plywood, mounted on the metal fasteners and has a magnetic lock. To prevent the surface from falling down, I installed small plastic corners which I fixed with liquid glue. The final stage of the work was power supply. The case is small, so for a long time I couldn't find a suitable surge protector that would include several outlets with horizontal holes and also had at least 3 USB-A ports to power the fans and the monitor. Finally, I found a model that fits for me, but as you can see, I had to disassemble it a little and build up the wires for the USB-A power board in order to take it out and install it at an angle of 90 degrees. Having cut the wire, we soldered one end to the female power connector and the other end to male power connector. Thirdly, obtained a power cable. In the future, I plan to bring the on-off button to the work surface. We covered all bare wires, namely the power connectors and the XLR connector, with liquid glue. After that, I took up the cables and organized it, connected all the wires to the switcher and installed it in its place. Let me know what you think about this project in the comments and see you in the next video. Bye!